DegloireSpace signing in. This Saturday night that passed over in Chicago, UFC 319 happened. And there's something that I needed to talk about that happened there. If you're not a UFC fan, hold on. Give yourself a moment, because there's something we can all learn from. Something so beautiful, inspiring, and at the same time crumbling if you don't know how to deal with it. So basically, let me give you the outline. The final fight was between Dricus du Plessis and Khamzat Chimaev. And you see, building up to this fight, you have Khamzat, who everybody knows what he does. He will attack you full force wrestling and try to submit you, basically. Dricus du Plessis, he's been a champion now. He's defended his title twice, and he's been an unstoppable force. He knew going into this what Khamzat brings, and he prepared. And he prepared thoroughly. In fact, there's so many beautiful things about him. He's the one who called out that fight and said, this fight is what needs to happen. He's been preparing for it and saying, I'm ready. And he's been going wrestling all the time. His mindset, he's strong. He doesn't give up, and no fear in his approach. The fight happened, and he just couldn't do anything. He's done all the hard work, the right mindset, just had no answers on the night. Absolute domination, and Khamzat won. It makes you think that in life, we usually think you put in the hard work, right mindset, you're going to succeed. Like, what's stopping you? But in this scenario, that goes against everything that we know. And we always, we can't promote this kind of thing. You can't say to someone, hey, look, you might put in all the hard work and you're going to lose. The reality is, that's a possibility. And knowing that that is a possibility, when we prepare ourselves for life, let's move away from the UFC or fighting. Let's look at when you're in a relationship. You go in full force. Just like Dricus, you go in full force. And then something happens, it doesn't work out. You did all that you had to do. Didn't work out. Same thing. You go in to start a business. You've done all that you know, all that is deemed possible. And you got the right mindset. I want to succeed. I want to do this. And sometimes you'll hear people, when they're talking about motivation, they'll be like, oh, there's no room for failure. This is something that I don't agree with. You see, the aim of whatever you do is not success or failure. You want to succeed. But in life, there is an unknown factor. When I say unknown, it's not that you don't know it. It's just that you can't predict it. You don't know what's going to happen, what's popping up. There is always a sense of unknown in everything you do. Now, people choose to attack this with two ways. Some people will say, there's no unknown, you do your preparation, that's all it's going to be. Some other people are going to be, oh, it's all unknown, there's nothing I can do. And you see, the reality is not that or that. The reality is both at the same time. Personally, I believe this is one big reason why mystical experiences, why spirituality exists. This is how it was discovered, because human beings kind of figured out that you do everything, but there's always a possibility, there's that possibility that things don't go to plan. What happens here to people is when they face that, they say, man, I've prepared, I've done. Why didn't I succeed? They feel like life has betrayed them. Going back to du Plessis, even when he was getting dominated, you would see every now and then he would explode. He had no fear. He was going to try to finish. Even in the last round, just had no answers. The beautiful thing about him is, I felt during the fight, during the ordeal, he didn't let it crush him. Now, how he is after it, I don't know. I don't have that insight into his life. But I know we got to apply this to our lives. When we're going about our business and things don't go as planned, even though we've put in the hard work, there's a big difference that they don't go as planned because we haven't planned. and they don't go as planned because our plans were half-assed. But what if we've worked our full capacity? It's important that we approach things holistically. And if you've been on this channel a while, you've seen that this is the way that we always gonna attack any incident, any event that we see. This is what this channel is about. A holistic approach to life. There's no specializing. Here, we're gonna try to look at something totally just as you would while you're living, while you're in it. When you go hiking, you don't just worry about shoes that you're wearing. You don't just worry about your walking technique. There are so many other factors involved. The weather, the mindset, the techniques, all of these things come into play. And the same thing happens when we're going about our life. Our life is not isolated. It's not that, I'm trying to pick up this girl, I just have to work on my picking up. It doesn't work like that. And if this kind of approach sits well with your philosophy to life and your vision, then subscribe to this channel. This is the way we present ourselves here. So the way we handle this is, one, when we plan according to all the factors we see. And then there's another part where we have to plan our inside, where we sit with ourselves and we see, where we sit with ourselves and we understand ourselves. We look at what parts of our mind are lacking. We address the questions of, if I fail, if I fall, is this it for me? Is this all I got? Or am I going to get back up? Am I going to try again and again? And why do we try again? Because we're alive. It's nothing fancy. Because you're alive, you have to keep going. You have to empty that gas tank. And the gas tank, the way we learn to use it is different. You might discover that you were pushing too hard in one dimension, not in another dimension. You might actually sometimes when you approach a situation, you might discover that situation didn't need that level of acceleration. You might have had to decelerate a little bit. There are wisdoms that we learn a lot. And this is the ultimate thing in life, the wisdom that we gain. Because the achievements, they belong to the moment, but the wisdom, that's what sticks with you. And so I say here, the whole unknown parts of life, we face it with a bit of a mystical approach. A mystical approach is not nothing fancy. The mystical, if you think about the mystics, a lot of them just sat with themselves and they faced their inner world. That's all it takes. And it's not a big deal. You owe it to yourself to invest in that part of you. Why neglect that part that's with you all the time? That's the part that even when you're a champion can haunt you. It doesn't matter what you achieve. If that part is not with you, you will crumble. We need to always ask ourselves these questions. Sit with ourselves. And you know what? Let success come. Let failure come. Look at people in the media who really been crushed. People who got famous, and then they were forgotten. So they had success, but then success is not the aim because success is going to fluctuate. One day it's you, one day it's somebody else. Even loss is not always you. It's going to fluctuate. And so why don't we prepare for something like that? And preparing for something like that is not out of the ordinary. It's part of your everyday life to give yourself that time to check what's going on here. What are the questions that my brain asks me when I'm not doing anything, when I'm not with anybody? What is my brain? What's going on in here? When I approach a task, what are the fears that are hidden inside me? These are the questions that we gotta ask ourselves. Let success come, let failure come. You're there. You're ready. DegloireSpace signing out.